I think we got it. Yes. Cool. Okay, yeah. I think you can probably hear me now. Yeah. It's a little confusing what my microphone is named on this computer, so it takes a little bit of time to find that stuff out. How are you doing this evening, Blinks? You sound like an old man, Blinks. Turn the radio down. Man, Thanksgiving weekend's been exhausting already, man. I feel like maybe it's just all the turkey. I've been tired. You getting close to getting some game time in there, Blanks? I know the internet's been missing you. Oh man, no, not yet. This one that actually looks like it's going to be good. From what it looks like on Discord, you said it was, but man, I'm actually excited about this one. I think with that last one, you could tell just from the trailer that it wasn't going to be as good. But this one looks like it's a good spiritual successor to the originals. Now, that's a shame. Oh, well, now all I got to do is get popular so I can get some more people on here. That's more work than I really want to do, though. Oh. Oh, go ahead, man. Like, I'm not. I mean, I'll let you know if it's a movie I'm really hung up on that I really don't want spoilers on. Otherwise, spoilers don't bug me too much, only because the story elements get spoiled, but the experience doesn't necessarily. So yeah, if you want to share something with me from that, go ahead. I'm probably fine with that. Now, I'll let you know if it's something that I'm like really anticipating and I don't want it spoiled. But you're fine. Oh, that's not going to be hard, man. I grew up with Ghostbusters. I mean, way back in the day, back when I lived in Virginia, back before my parents got divorced and stuff, that was a huge, like when I was just an itty bitty kid, I was a huge Ghostbusters fan. I had all the toys. I had Ecto One. I had all the action figures. I had the fire station for the characters. I think I even had Janine's car. If you, I don't know if you ever saw that toy. It was like a little yellow Volkswagen Beetle, but the whole car transformed into a I guess a ghost or a monster or something. But yeah, no, as a kid, there's some nostalgia factor for me associated with anything Ghostbusters. Well, anything, you know, any good Ghostbusters content. But I think even as a kid, I watched the animated Ghostbusters show, which I don't remember anything from it. It's probably not that good. Probably hasn't held up, but man, I remember loving it as a kid. Actually, probably most of the toys I had were probably from that. When it's hard not to love the Ghostbusters. I mean, the writing was brilliant. I mean, that was intelligent comedy. It was just brilliant comedy. Um, and it didn't really hit you over the head with anything. It just felt natural. It was really good. Yeah, yeah, the yellow bug. Yeah, yeah. I think I think my mom ended up selling all my Ghostbuster toys after my parents got divorced or something. So I'll never see those again. But oh, brother. Oh, yeah. I was pretty heartbroken when I found out about it at the time. Um, it is what it is. She probably got a few beers or something for it. I think I still have a love for toys either way, though. So I think in the closet over there, I've got a bunch of Star Trek ships and stuff like that, and some Star Wars ones too, probably. I think I even got some. I don't know. I've got a bunch of stuff. Yeah, if I ever get rich, I'll probably have at least one whole room in my mansion set aside for toys, and nobody is going to shame me for that. I will have I will buy every toy I ever had nostalgia for. Man, I'm gonna get back all the toys I had, all my Star Wars toys and ships and stuff. Man, oh dude, I had that. I had the Boba Fett Slave One, the one that had kind of the handle built into the bottom, and like it would when you turned it up, like the little wings on the side would rotate and everything, and you could open up the bottom, and that thing was cool. Hell, I would fill that room up with toys I wanted that I could never get. As a kid, I was really into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I had the Megazord, but uh, I was one of those kids that could not find the Dragon Zord toy, and oh my fucking god, I was. It was on the top of my list of things I wanted. I remember one time we were driving around in like an Albertsons parking lot looking for a parking space, and one of the cars in front of us, some kid had the Dragon Zord just sitting in the back windshield, and it was like busted up. The kid was like had like totally abused it, and I was like so furious, like he had no idea what he had. Exo Squad. I do. Exo Squad. Is that the one that had the toys where they were like the exo suits, but you could lift up and take the guy out and put him in and stuff? I think I did have one of those. I think I had the police one, the blue one that said police. I don't think I ever had any Batman. I wasn't really a big Batman fan growing up. Um, Trying to remember if and when I even got into comic books getting older. I don't. I think when it came to like comic book characters, I don't think I got really into them until later in life when I really appreciated the comics and like kind of like the appreciated them as Americana, but then like really dug the characters too. I don't think I really realized how mature some of the stories were until later on. Shang-Chi? Oh, dude. So I'm gonna fess up on this. I might as well just pause my game. I'm not really playing anyways right now. So I after Avengers Endgame, I kind of just decided that I just didn't care about the Marvel Cinematic Universe after that. I was like, all the cool stories are kind of wrapped up. The stories I've been following since the beginning 10 years ago were wrapped up. I'm like, I don't care after this. I saw Shang-Chi. Holy crap! I'm back to being stoked about what's coming. I it was it was a it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. It uh, maybe I'm just picky. I didn't. I wasn't anticipating much from it, so that maybe that helped it too. But I was really expecting it just to be another tack on character. That said, like there's still Marvel movies I don't care about. Like I haven't, and I haven't seen yet, and I really don't care to see like the Black Widow movie. I don't care. She was kind of a side character. Um, but I've heard the reviews aren't great for it, anyways. But I don't care that much about reviews. But it's not something I really care that much about. But Shang-Chi got me stoked. I really want to see the new Spider-Man movie, but I'm not going to see that in theaters, and I don't think that's coming to Disney Plus anytime soon. I'll be right back. All right. Black Widow. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot there. Like, I think the Black Widow movie might have been cooler had they not killed the character off before releasing that movie, too. Because by then, who cares about her background? She's not coming back. Oh, Elite. Elite Dangerous. That's actually what I got on right now. It's kind of easy to play without paying attention, unless you're traveling. That can get dangerous because when you jump into a new star system, if you're not paying attention, you'll fly right into the exclusion zone of the star and fry up your ship a bit, do some damage. Um, Or if you're really not paying attention and you fly into a white dwarf, you'll be paying the insurance on that ship because you won't be getting that back. White dwarfs are a pain in the butt. Neutron stars are bad too, but they're a little bit more forgiving, and they're great for getting you long distances quick. Yeah, if you ever get into it, let me know. I'm on probably one of the largest. They're not called guilds. Fleets, or they're called a couple different fleets or squadrons. I'm on one of the largest ones in the world. I'm an old guy on there. I was on there when we only had less than 100 people in it, and 100 plus people on there, and now it's like a couple thousand, I think. I haven't played in a while though, but they've added all sorts of cool stuff to the game, like fleet carriers, which if you've ever played No Man's Sky, they're kind of like the cargo ships you can get in that, where you could park a bunch of your ships on it, except that in that one you can have other people park on your ships. You can have them sell stuff to you, and it's pretty complicated. I don't know all the ins and outs because I don't have one. They cost, I think, 5 billion credits in game. I'd love to have a fleet carrier, but holy cow, 5 billion credits is a lot. I do not have that. I have 1 billion credits plus my ships. But it takes some. It's time consuming. The game's time consuming. Making credits isn't hard if you really get into it, but you really got to devote your time to it, and it can kind of suck the fun out of it because if you're really trying to. I don't know what the current meta is for making credits in the game, but it's usually best to jump on it as quickly as you can because everybody else is going to be too. I think I made my first million. Yeah. Well, not all of it has to be hustling. So I made my first million in game. I made enough money to buy a small. It's called a Type 6 cargo ship. It's your first real dedicated cargo ship you can get. It's pretty good too. It's a neat looking little ship. It's a little Lakon built ship. Lakon's one of the ship manufacturers in the game. I'd probably argue it's actually probably my favorite manufacturer. Anyways, I got a little Type 6, and I actually jumped around between a bunch of systems, and I would buy up rare goods. So I think I did it around like a bunch of systems around the Lave system, and I would buy like Lavian brandy or something like that, which you can only get in the Lave system. And then and the further away from the source system that you get it, I think the more the higher the value is because you can't get it. It's harder to get that far away. So I would I'd fill my ship up with these rare commodities, fly a bunch of systems over, dock, and sell it for a good price. And I just did this. It was like a round trip. There was a couple different systems that had rare commodities, and I just do the motions, made my first million that way. Eventually, I think what really made me a lot of money, there was a brief period of time where the developers had kind of overlooked it, but there was a way you could make a ton of money doing transports. So I bought I think I started with, I eventually bought a really nice Beluga spaceship, which is the largest transport ship you can get in that. It looks cool. It looks like a space cruise liner. It's a beautiful ship. It's huge, but it has no heat control on it. So like your ship can fry in a real easy. Anyways, I think I started with like a Type 7 cargo ship and just filled it up with seating. Like I just put a bunch of economy seating inside this big Type 7 cargo ship. And what they had was like, there was something was going on, like a war or something like that was going on in this one system. And so there were a lot of refugees that you could transport, and they had no problem riding economy seating. So you fill up your ship with a ton of economy seats, start taking fill it up with all the refugees going that you could, but you only pick the ones that are going to one specific system. So the game mechanics used to say that the further you flew, you had to fly to the drop off station, like the more money it was worth. And so because this war was going on, all these refugees wanted to go to this next system over, and there was only one station there for it. And so if you filled your ship up with a bunch of people going there, you could make quite a bit of money because the one station in the next system over was, and this might be complicated because I'm not going to get too into detail. The one station in the next system over was like 2 million light seconds away from the star, because when you jump into a system, you jump in at the star and you fly out, and it's all measured in light seconds. Because between star systems, it's light years, but like within system, it's like light seconds. 2 million light seconds is it takes so every trip was like an hour long. Maybe it was longer than that. I can't remember. It was like at least an hour long trip, just one trip in game. And I did like 2 or 3 of them in a session. So it's and you're literally just flying in a straight line. You just line up with where the station is and you go. And it was a good way to make money. But like I was saying earlier, when you jump on making money in this game, it can suck the fun out of it. And if you can imagine, you're literally, you jump into the station, you pick up all these passengers, you jump into the next system, line up with where the station is you're supposed to drop them off at, and 2 million light seconds away. And for the next hour, you find a podcast to listen to, do something like that, because you're not controlling your ship. You're just hands off, let your ship fly, and eventually you get close enough and you have to hope you're paying attention when you get there. You pick the controller up, you land, you drop them off, you make a good bit of money, a couple $100 million. I think you could make up to like a few $100 million. Maybe it wasn't hundreds of millions. I can't remember. It's been a while, but we called it the Smeaton Run because the station that you were dropping people off at was called Smeaton Orbital. I think there's only one station that's really more famous than that for its distance, and that's called I can't remember the full name of it. It's Hutton Orbital maybe, but it's famous because people know. There's a squadron called the Hutton Truckers because they'll go out there to Hutton Orbital. It's like it's longer than 2 million light seconds away, but it has the allure to going there, even though it's going to take you an hour of straight flying and listening to probably a podcast or watching a TV show while you do it. Is that there is a rare commodity there? They're coffee mugs, Hutton coffee mugs. You can't get them anywhere else. So you have to jump into the system and fly millions of light seconds out to the station to pick up all these coffee mugs, and you could sell them for some money elsewhere. But it's pretty cool. The game is immersive, yes. So I mean, and I'm not really doing a good job of making it sound interesting. So I will say, like, one of the cool things about it, and it was how I made a lot more money in the game, was mining. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's actually graphically one of the coolest things you can do in game, because most of the mining you do in space, you do that in the ring systems around planets. You fly into the rings and you mine from all these little chunks of ice and dirt and stuff around there for rare commodities. And they actually expanded on that a while back. So they added I haven't played the game enough I know I'm behind on the terminology. So they added this rare mineral called void opals in there, and for a long time that was the only thing. You can get void opals or low temperature diamonds, they're commonly called LTDs in the game. But the space mining, it's pretty cool. It's cool because you're not just in space. When you go into that ring system, you got all those rocks flying around that you can mine from, but like it's all dusty from all the ice dust in the air and everything. it just looks so atmospheric. It's really cool, and you fly up to these rocks and you launch what's called a limpet. You have different types of limpets in game, and when you're mining, you want to have two types of limpet controllers on your ship. You want to have a prospector limpet controller, and what that does is when you use that to launch a limpet, the little limpet is like a little robotic. It looks like a trash can, and it launches out of your cargo bay and it flies towards whatever your target is, usually a rock or an asteroid in space. It attaches to the rock, and it sends you back data about what kind of minerals are in that rock. And so if it has something that you want in it, hopefully you equipped your ship with mining lasers. And I will admit that there have been a few times I've gone out mining, gotten there after jumping like 20 jumps away, getting to the location, prospecting a rock, being like, yes, it has what I want, and realizing I didn't equip mining lasers to my ship, so I can't do anything anyways. So assuming you have everything equipped to your ship correctly, you get out to that rock, you prospect it with a limpet, it has what you want, you blast it with the lasers, and then you activate collector limpets. And those guys, if you get a good collector limpet controller, you can launch up to like 3 collector limpets, and they'll go out and collect all the minerals and stuff for you. Otherwise, you have to manually maneuver your ship to hoover up each individual mineral, and nobody wants to do that. It's I mean, it's a waste of time. Now, conversely, if you really want to play the pirate or really have some fun and just mess with people, and you don't mind getting a bounty on your head or getting in trouble with the law, which every now and then I'll get bored enough to do this, but you can take your combat ship out and go to a popular ring system, go to that planet, and go look for these poor unsuspecting miners out there who have, because if you're equipped for mining, you don't have a lot of shields on it, because you fill up all the slots on your ship with like cargo holds and like limpet controllers, things like that. You don't have really any weapons on it. And so if you're bored and you want to have fun, you take your heavily armed fighter ship of some sort that you have, take that out there and harass the poor miners. You can actually you can get them to dump their load, scare them enough to dump their load, and they'll run off. But sometimes you just got to blow them up too. You can get hatch breaker limpets, and they'll go out there and break open the cargo hatch and make them dump their hull. You can also get a cargo scanner, so you can scan them ahead of time just to see if they're even worth attacking before you go and get Johnny Law on your ass. It's not too bad though. The mining's fun if you're in a group, like in a mining group, not a mining group, but if you're in like a squadron, like I am, you can usually a lot of times, especially if there's a big run on something, like if a planet's been located that has a really rich ring system and it's a good place to make a boatload of money. Usually, if you're in a squadron, they'll usually coordinate and organize a mining event where anybody who wants to go out and mine will go mine, and then people who are more combat oriented can bring their combat ships out, and they'll protect you while you mine. Because you don't have to only worry. It's not only other players you got to worry about. You also got NPCs as well, and they're a pain in the butt. They'll pop out. You can usually see them coming and get out of the way. Anyways, I'm rambling about probably. The game's way more fun to play than to talk about, and it's probably way more fun to play than to listen to me talk about. So right now I'm focusing on combat in game. So I've got a very terrifying ship decked out to the brim with some pretty kick-ass guns. So I think that would be an uphill battle to get that many people into the game that aren't into it. It's a niche type of game. I mean, it doesn't have the appeal of like a Call of Duty or Battlefield or something. It doesn't have the street appeal too. Everybody's interested in the new game. So getting getting the Nostra into that would be probably pretty difficult. But it's fun. You ever try it out, man? Let me know. I'll wing up with you. And it's been a while, and I can't remember all the mechanics of getting into a wing with someone else. But at the very least, I can guide you into getting your first million. Go mining with you or something. Or take you mining, and I'll watch your back. I got a pretty impressive ship. It's engineered to the brim for combat against NPCs. Anyways, I not very good. I can't do PvP, and I don't have the patience to engineer my ship for anti-Xeno stuff. That's another thing in the game too. Is you got the aliens in it, the Thargoids, which sounds like something from like a 1960s space like sci-fi movie. But the Thargoids are pretty impressive. They're hard as hell to fight sometimes. There's a whole strategy to it, and you would actually probably get really into that. You'd probably really dig the anti-Xeno stuff. I dip my toes in it from time to time, but I've never taken out one of their bigger ships. I've only fought their little interceptor ships, and I can destroy those just fine usually. But the bigger ships, no. I can't do those. Yeah. That's. I don't know about you, but yeah, from time to time, I get that hankering for a good space sim, where I can just lose myself in it. Fortunately, I already have Elite. I don't need to get anything else. I mean, there's still plenty for me to do in that. I kind of like the fact that you start off with like the tiniest ship in the game and 1,000 credits to your name, and they cut you loose and you have to make your way in the universe. You can. I think I made when I first started playing, most of the money I made was from bounty hunting. But you can be a pirate. You can be a smuggler. I tried smuggling a little bit. I'm just not good at finding the stations that have the good black market things I need to smuggle. But you can smuggle. I mean, you get yourself a small, fast enough ship, and you can actually shut down the heat. What was it? You can kind of stealth your ship. What it'll do is it'll like keep your ship. It'll shut your ship off from venting any heat, so it's not as easily detectable. It's harder. They can't really scan you very well. Problem is you build up heat pretty fast, and it'll fry your ship. But if you're smuggling goods and you're coming into a station, they typically scan you. Like the ships that are guarding the station will scan you on your way in. So when you line yourself up when you're coming into the station, so that you're gonna drop out of low wake frame shift. You drop out like lined up with the mail slot on. So the entryway into the space station it's typically called a mail slot by players. So you line yourself up so that when you drop out of the game's version of Warp, you're lined up with the mail slot. You basically you get permission to dock, and you just go as fast as you can towards that mail slot. You shut off the venting of the heat so that nobody can scan you. And then you vent the heat once you get inside that station, and then you land as quick as you can, and you can get you can sell some smuggled stuff. I did smuggling for a little bit. It's a good way to make a little bit of money early on if you're up for it. If you go into Imperial space, you can buy Imperial slaves in Imperial space, or you can go even into unregulated space to a station there and get just regular slaves, bring those back to Federation space and sell those at a station. Slavery is illegal in the Federation, so you bring them back to the Federation. You can sell them, smuggle them, and you can also do some other stuff. I think weapons and other things like that. Anyways, I'm nerding out on Space Sim now. Unfortunately, there haven't been a whole lot of games coming out that I'm actually very interested in. think I'm in a weird period right now where my game enthusiasm is waning. Okay, so your question about getting out of your ship, not yet, not yet. At least not on console. Um, uh, so you're all you at currently on at least on console you are always in a vehicle. Um, there's no I think what they called it elite feat. You can't get out of your ship yet. You can land on planets, and then so you can actually it's actually pretty cool. It's a cool system. You can actually equip your ship with an SRV, which is just a little moon rover that has some small guns on it and stuff. You can even equip your ship with fighters that you can hire a pilot to fly with you on your ship, and then if you get into a fight, assign them to a fighter, and they'll launch from your ship and fly with you and fight with you. You can land on a planet, and then your cargo hold will drop your little car, your SRV, and you can drive around on the surface outside of your vehicle and explore that way. There's actually a lot of really cool things. Some old ruins from Thargoids, and as well as an old ancient race called the Guardians. You can explore stuff like that. You can find crashed ships and other little lore items that are on planet surfaces. You can mine. You can mine down there. You can collect some pretty cool stuff. It's pretty neat. But getting out of your ship as a person, not yet. They do have that out for PC. The reviews it's supposed to be pretty buggy right now, though. The reviews aren't very good. They're not sure when they're going to release that for consoles, which I'd rather them get it hammered out and then release it for consoles anyways. Yeah. I mean, I know there's some where you can get in and out of your ship. That's a cool thing, but they have to get the rest of the game right too. Otherwise, it's just a gimmick. So, I mean, I know Elite. I've got the systems down there. I'm comfortable with it, so I'm going to probably stick with that for the time being. But we'll see. I think the one you might be thinking of might be can't remember the name of it, but maybe the one that's Bethesda's releasing, Star or something. I can't remember. I can't remember what it's called. I can't. Ever since Bethesda said that they're going to be Xbox exclusive, I'm kind of not sure. Not sure what I'm going to do about that. At this point, since I can't get my hands on the PlayStation 5 anyways, Xbox isn't looking terrible. And that's if I even bother buying another console anyways. I'm getting burned down on it. Like I said, my video game enthusiasm is waning. Why buy a new game system when I can get a nice new guitar or something? It's not a gimmick unless it's the only good thing about it. If the rest of the game is good and playable and actually worthwhile, and you can get out and walk around on your feet, that's cool. But I mean, if it's just a space game, I don't know. We'll see. I'll know it if I like it when I see it, but I'm not going to say a mechanic in a game is just a gimmick until I've seen the rest of it. So, yeah, there are a lot, and the truth is, I have games right now that have a lot of replay value. So I don't, even though there's no games out right now that are coming out right now that appeal to me, that's okay because I actually have games right now that I just like to get immersed in and keep playing. Like I could play Red Dead Redemption for a while. Elite Dangerous, I'm still playing that. I've been playing that for years. I've been really wanting to get back into Cyberpunk. I was really enjoying Cyberpunk. Well, I beat it. I'd like to play it again. I kind of really liked that world. It was a lot of fun. I did I recently reinstalled both. I had this brief. I don't know what I was thinking. I had an evening where I was like, man, I could go for a good Hideo Kojima game. So I reinstalled both Death Stranding and Metal Gear Solid 5. And I guess because I put so much effort into playing those games the first time, I really didn't want to start the games over. I had so much stuff unlocked, and when I tried to play it, I was like, man, I do not remember this any of like the mechanics, the controls, none of this. I don't know. I ended up uninstalling it like the next day. Really not looking for that though, anyways. Oh man. Have you watched as probably this might not even be something that you're interested in, but I don't know how into reading you are, but it's based off a book series. That's why I say this. But the new Amazon series, The Wheel of Time. Me and the missus has been watching it. It's actually pretty good. I read like of the books, like up to book 8 way back in the day, but the show's pretty good. They're doing a pretty good job on it. Oh, aside from that, we also started the live action Cowboy Bebop series as well. I'll let them finish that one. I'm good, man. I like the anime's still good. And the changes Netflix made to it to make the live action series work just kind of rubbed me the wrong way when the anime was already good enough. They didn't have to make such ridiculous changes to the story. But that's Netflix. They love to do that. You like this character? Suddenly they're gay because Netflix likes to do that. I have nothing against gay characters, but why would you change an established character to being homosexual to meet an agenda? I mean, it's not clever. It's not. It's kind of lacks creativity. It just feels more like agenda baiting at that point. I write a good homosexual character. I have no problems with that, but recreating an established cool character as homosexual is just, yeah, that's a gimmick. Let's see. Yeah. So when it comes to reading, I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to reading. I I am way too picky. I know in my head what I like, and if it doesn't fit those criteria, I think I end up rereading books more often than not because I just don't give other books a chance enough. Um, but I'd like to get back into reading too, and I'm thinking about it. I just every time I think of I might get into rereading something. Something else sounds nice to reread as well, or to read at all. Yeah. Netflix is notorious for the forced agenda stuff, and going back to Ghostbusters, that's why I didn't like that last one where they gender swapped everybody. That was a forced agenda. That was taking a beloved franchise and for some reason gender swapping everybody. And the writing wasn't even clever. I mean, I have no problem with female protagonists, but what do you think's going to come of taking a beloved franchise with a lot of nostalgia value to it, like Ghostbusters, which frankly the writing was superb on the original. Like it's just brilliant writing. Uh, and then what? Gender swapping them? No, I didn't see the movie. Full disclosure, but I mean, from what I understand, so they had Chris Hemsworth playing the gender swap Janine, and they wrote him like a moron. I don't know. I I I can't picture anybody misunderstanding how Janine was represented, but she was like a strong individual woman. Like she didn't take any crap from them. Like it was that was what the humor from her was. Is like Bill Murray's character was always just like kind of talking down to her for fun, and she just batted her out. Or she just gave him that mean old look. But like she certainly wasn't a disrespected character. Certainly not in the writing. And anyways, and so it felt like an agenda thing or like a vindictive anti-male agenda thing. And I could be, again, I didn't see it, but I just didn't see the appeal in it. And evidently a lot of people didn't because the movie bombed. And I, I don't feel bad about that at all. All right. Oh. Yeah, from what I understand, the writing. Yeah, it looked like the writing would be bad. I think there's a problem these days with comedy in movies, anyways. It's not clever anymore. Yeah, the CGI looked terrible too. That it did. Um, the comedy's not there anymore. Hell, they have to remake old movies just to try to lure people in because the writing's just not good. I can't like I used to love watching SNL, but SNL is just uncreative these days. Saturday Night Live is just not funny. It's not work. It's you. Yeah. People are on a hair trigger these days for being offended, and people. It sure feels like people will go out of their way to be offended these days, and I think people have forgotten. And this is just my thoughts. But I believe if you're offended, at the end of the day, that's your problem. That's if I say something and you're offended, that's not my problem. Now, I should be conscious about trying not to offend somebody, but I mean, being offended isn't a crime. You can be offended. I mean, if I say something that's like horrible or blatantly horribly insulting or something like that, like if it's malicious, that's different. But if I say something that you find offensive, that's your problem, not mine. And I don't, being offended isn't a crime, and it's not something I have to fix. I don't care if you're offended. So, I mean, I will go out of my way to not to offend people, but uh, if I do, I'm not losing sleep over it. I don't know about society becoming sterile. I mean, in terms of entertainment, yeah, entertainment's kind of it's becoming a little sterile sometimes. Yeah, I think there. I think I, I I would say the challenge isn't that it's becoming more sterile. I think the challenge is that people are less creative too. There's always going to be that challenge of overcoming sterility in entertainment, but people do. It's just called finding a creative way around it to get it across. And usually, that's what's really funny is people are not only just laughing at what's being said, but like what's being implied. Because I don't know. It. I don't know. I think it's a two-way street. I don't think it's becoming sterile. I think people are becoming less creative too. People are just less funny or less less creative on that stuff, and which is probably why you see so many remake movies and crap like that. I mean, like I was saying earlier, SNL not funny anymore. Yeah, yeah. Well, comedy. I don't know. Comedy. I kind of feel like comedy's always had to look behind its back, but then at the same time, it shouldn't always be. Not all comedy has to be on the edge of things. Plus, look at some of the quality of the comedians we've had lately too. There's some shit comedians out there. I used to love Louis C.K., but like the stuff he got canceled for was gross, man. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm not above being able to separate the artist from the art, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to judge the hell out of the artist. I mean, for their personal life. I mean, I'm not going to get in. If you didn't read about it, go ahead and look it up. I'm not going to get into what he was accused of and what evidently he actually, well, he admitted to it. But I found him. I still find his humor funny, and I love offensive humor. I love dark humor, but I mean, there's a line. Like, the humor you shouldn't be doing horrible stuff like that. Well, yeah, I get that. The fear of being creative, not to offend. I get that. I don't know. I don't see it as a problem, though. Yeah, Eddie Murphy, he's good. I don't know. I don't see it as that big of a problem. I think it's kind of neutered big entertainment, but I think it's also kind of created a fertile field for some new voices to come in, new creativity. Somebody too small for people to bother suing if they're offended by it. And at the same time, I think it's not all. I think the problem isn't that people are offended, and the sterility isn't coming from the people who are being offended, but the people who are giving those offended people power, which is whoever's. It's lawyers, man. Whoever's actually taking up that shit to do lawsuits and stuff. Well, I would argue that we don't lack polarizing people. We just lack polarizing entertainment people. Oh, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. Don't get me started on Marilyn Manson. No, you're not going to win any arguments with me on Marilyn Manson. That guy's a piece of shit. But I get your point, though. I do get your point. But with what's coming out in the news about Marilyn Manson lately, you're not. That's. I will not argue for that person. Speaking of him, though, did you ever hear that rumor years ago? It's been debunked ages ago, but did you ever hear that rumor about Marilyn Manson, that he was actually the friend, the kid from what was it, the Wonder Years or something? The friend of Fred Savage's character, like fully grown, like he grew up and became Marilyn Manson. That was debunked, but I remember hearing that as a rumor, and I was like, no way. Oh, okay. I'm glad we're in agreement, anyways, about how he is today. Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I think. I don't know. I would agree. It's entertainment in general has become milk toast. Yeah. Yeah. Marilyn Manson was like the Lady Gaga back then. Like everybody was talking about what he wore and what he did and what body modifications he had. So yeah, I remember that. He, I was never a Marilyn Manson fan. I was a big Korn fan in high school. Korn was where it was at. John Davis, Fieldy, Head, Monkey, and Dave. I know Dave eventually left. I didn't really follow the band after that, anyways. But I think Tupac is still pretty well regarded. I think yeah. I wasn't even into rap, but I like Tupac. I got more respect for him than most modern rap, anyways. Nowadays, it seems like anybody can jump out there and have a rap career. It's I don't know. Tupac had talent, and it seems like a lot of people nowadays they I just don't get into it. Yeah, Korn's still doing their thing, but they haven't aged well. Um, Rage Against the Machine was the band another band I was really into. Again, I stopped following them after Battle of Los Angeles. I think it wasn't long after that when I think was that when Tom Morello was it Tom Morello who left or was it Zach De La Rocha who left? I can't remember. Like left for a time. I know. I mean, I know Tom Morello left and went to Audio. Audio was it? No, who was it? With Chris Cornell. He went and played with Chris Cornell. Okay, it was Zach. Okay, yeah. Which again, Tom Morello's. I fucking love Tom Morello. He's good, man. If he put a single out, gosh, a couple of years back called "Can't Stop the Bleeding." Audio Slave. Thank you. Oh, okay, well, I didn't know about Night Watchman, but Audio Slave. Yeah, that was the one I was trying to remember. Man, get Tom Morello and Chris Cornell together. Fucking amazing on guitar, and Chris Cornell, dude, you can't find someone with better pipes than him. Anyways, what I was saying is a couple of years back, Tom Morello came out with a single, a song called "Can't Stop the Bleeding." Like the cover is like a hippo with wings or something like that. The song's killer, at least for half of it. There's a he does it with another artist or two, and that artist is known for dubstep. So about halfway through the song, it switches from Tom Morello's kick-ass song to like some dubstep version of it, and you might be into that. I can't do dubstep, man. It does nothing for me. But if you get a chance, check that song out though. It's pretty cool, at least for half of it. You might like the other half too. Okay, you heard the song? It's pretty cool. I liked it. It was catchy. I even showed it to my buddy. He's like 65. He's like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty cool." You don't have enough. You don't have. I miss. You know what I miss? Honestly, when it comes to music, I miss the days when like guitarists were actual rock stars. You know, like you don't have actual rock stars anymore. Actual musician rock stars anymore. Nowadays, people can just throw some beats together on a computer. It takes no musical talent to do. I mean, you okay? Granted, you know what sounds good, but that doesn't make you a musician. I would argue you could probably say you're an artist, but I don't know. I'm probably in the minority on this, but I don't have a whole lot of respect for a lot of modern music. Uh, what call for the life? All right. Let me see. Get rid of that. What is this? Hmm. State of Mind. Never. I may have heard it before. Not heard their music, but the band name sounds familiar. I think you really kind of have to look at smaller local bands to find the good stuff down. Like I was saying earlier, or a little bit ago, I miss the days when like rock stars were the rock stars. Not specifically rock stars, but actual like the musicians, like the day of the band, back in the age of the band. I love bands. In high school, my dad was into sports, and he couldn't get me into it because I was into bands. He could tell me everything about all the different players and their names and their stats and what they did and shit. I didn't care because I could tell him all about the different band members of like Korn or Rage Against the Machine, what they play, how they played it. That stuff was cool. I think that's my argument for missing the day when rock stars were the rock stars is probably along the same lines as when that same argument when people say I miss when the MTV was actually about music. It's along those lines. Oh, man, Blinkers. I think you and I would get along just fine hanging out and BSing. You need to get a Sin on here and stuff like that. It'll be hangout time. I'll reach back there, pick the guitar up, and strum a few tunes, throw back a few beers. Speaking of finding bands, what are your thoughts on like? I'm going to use Spotify as the example, but like there's you got all those different music services out there, Pandora and stuff like that, iTunes and what. Okay, I might be behind the times. I think iTunes is still around. I don't use Apple products, but I'm assuming that's the case. I use Spotify, but I actually really dig these services though. Like I wish we had something like Spotify back in the day. I mean, granted, that was like the local CDs, music CD game exchange or like the music store. You go down there and look for the CDs there and see if you find something with a cool cover art or something, a cool picture on the cover. But what are your thoughts on those music services? I freaking love Spotify. Like I'm sure I've told you before. I'm a big blues guy. I love blues, and I love using Spotify just because it makes recommendations based on like your playlists and stuff like that. And man, there's some cool stuff. Like you can find some good stuff. Now I've been trying to get back into rock. That's hard because I'm pretty picky when it comes to rock. Uh, what style of rock? You said you found that band State of Mind. What style of rock is that? And I'll keep talking. I know there seems to be I'm not used to doing this live stuff on here, so I'm not used to the lag between what I'm talking about in the chat. So I apologize if it seems like I bounce back and forth. Uh, I'm not good at just picking a new rock band and trying them out these days. Usually, I end up going back to some of the music I listened to from like high school, and then having to use that as kind of my entryway. I actually got really into punk and ska for a while there too in high school. I don't know if you ever listened to any of that stuff, Blanks, but man, it's a stretch. Have you ever heard of the band Me First and the Gimme Gimmes? They are a oh, okay. Yeah, I have really I have nothing against people who are into metal. I am I I'm not into it. It doesn't do anything for me. But I know people who've played it, who got into it, and I'm not one of those people who says there's no. It's just screaming. There's some hardcore talent in there. Like it again. There's no emotional flavor there for me at all. It doesn't do anything for me. But I am not knocking it for those who do. Like there's a lot of talent in that. In metal, it just doesn't do anything. Okay, well, let me rephrase that. There's a couple cool metal things I've gotten into. Cool by my estimation, which is I'm probably milk toast when it comes to metal. But uh, so I'm sure if you're into metal, you've heard of that cartoon show Metalocalypse. I do enjoy listening to the music from Death Clock. Not all of it, but some of it, just because there's that little bit of humor factor in it as well. But their music is not just metal, but it also feels like music you would hear in like some sort of kick-ass old school sword and sorcery epic when like the hero with a sword is climbing a mountain and shit like that. I kind of like that. Death Clock is about as far into metal as I'll get into. So the punk band I was telling you about, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, I got into them for a while. They do punk covers, and they got like a lot of albums, and each album is themed. Each album is like they do covers of certain type of music on that album. So music from like the '60s or something like that, or they have one with country music. I listened to like one or two songs. I was like, this isn't a good album, but. Oh, dude, yeah. Okay, Tenacious D, come on. Obviously. Who doesn't like Tenacious? Dude, Jack Black's brilliant. He's hilarious. I feel bad that I didn't get into them until late. Like I wish I could have contributed to I wish I would have been into them when the movie The Pick of Destiny came out, so I could have at least contributed my money to a ticket to try to raise its popularity. But unfortunately, I'm in that group of people who got into it as a cult favorite. Like I love the Pick of Destiny movie, dude. It's so good. Their music's a lot of fun. Jack Black's a hell of a. He's just a character, man. He just seems like he would be a genuinely cool guy to chill with outside of his popularity. Oh man. Hey Sin, what's up? We're just talking music right now. We bashed the entertainment industry up to this point. So, Sin, what kind of music are you into? Presumably similar to Blinkers, though. That I would find it very funny if he was sitting here regaling me about how awesome metal is, and then you're like, "Well, I'm totally into like '70s folk music." 2003, yeah, I think I actually came around to Tenacious D a few years after that. I think I got into Tenacious D. Like when I was in the army, like my buddy introduced me to them. I think that was around the time I got really into. Oh man, System of a Down. I really dug. They had that kind of dual album release, Hypnotize and Mesmerize, that came out back in like 2005. I want to say 2005. Maybe I'm wrong. Pretty sure it was like 2005 though. 2004, 2005, something like that. Those albums were sick. Those were awesome. Yeah. No, looks like we lost Sin already. Man, I must be boring. I've seen people jump in and jump out. All right. Let's see. Avenged Sevenfold. Never got into. No, let me rephrase that. I think Let me look them up on Spotify real quick. There's one song by Avenged Sevenfold I remember really liking, and I'm sure you'll be like, "Yeah, it's that one song all the posers and casuals got into." Uh, I can't remember the name of the song that I got really into by them though. Uh, yeah, I don't remember. No, 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 don't play. Oh, I don't know. Sin, what song do all us filthy Avenged Sevenfold casuals know them by? Uh, Nightmare? I don't know. Uh, Let me see if I can listen to this with like turn down low so that I don't get in trouble for it. But let me see. Oh, okay. I know what song it was. City of Evil. That's the song by Avenged Sevenfold I really like. That one. Uh, oh, okay. That's fun, Blanks. No, it was City of Evil. Sin. That was the song. So I never got into Avenged Sevenfold, but City of Evil. That song I thought was awesome. Uh, incidentally, I got into it because I think that song was on Guitar Hero 2, I think, and I played the shit out of that, especially when I was in Iraq. And I remember that song. That one was awesome. I don't. I know the City of Evil is the name of the album too. I only listen to that one song. I don't know the rest of the music. It's not my style of music, but City of Evil. It was that fast paced, kick ass music. Like it was really cool. Like I would. It was pretty neat. Um, there was another. Who was it? There was another band around that time I got into. No, I didn't get into them. They had like one or two songs I liked as well. And I think it was Coheed and Cambria, maybe. I think they had like one song I got into with them, maybe two. Yeah, actually, I got in trouble a few times about that. I had the little wired earbuds, and because I had the big headset on to listen to what the communications and everything, and I'd have wired earbuds and underneath listening to music. Uh, we did not use 40 mic. We used that. We had if we were in a Bradley, it was a 25 mic, but otherwise it was just a 50 cal. But man, driving down the road in a combat zone, listening to City of Evil, that's it gets you pumped up for it, like, especially if you know you're driving down into a hot area or something like that. You listen to some city, you listen to that song on the way in or something else, and it's pretty good. Yep, a song or two for me too. Is that for Coheed and Cambria? Yeah, I I think from what I understand with Coheed and Cambria, isn't their music supposed to be telling a story or something like that? I don't know. Uh, yeah, I don't remember. Um, I think I feel like I I feel like if you looked at my music tastes these days, you'd be like, "Holy crap! How did he turn into such an old man?" Um, because it's just it did kind of like rapidly devolve into like old school music. I mean, we're talking like I guess I gained an appreciation for music from like uh from like the gosh the 50s onward, like some of the older stuff. It's not necessarily complicated music. Sometimes, well, big band music is. It's kind of cool, but I've been listening to that stuff. Yeah, I'm the same way, Blanks. I didn't look into Coheed and Cambria enough either. Or that I say enough. I don't really feel like I need to. If I hear a song I like, that's good enough for me sometimes. Uh, like I was mentioning earlier, I got really into what was it? System of a Down. Did you guys ever get into them at all? I think I liked a couple of their songs at first myself, but then like when I realized that they were actually their music was political, it hit me at the right stage of my life when you're like fuck the government and shit like that. Like you're just like, oh, screw these guys. I was in the army, so I was just like, I was really into the I don't know why I was really into the anti-government stuff. I was like, screw those guys who give me my paycheck. But when that dual, like I said earlier, that dual album, that dual album release of like Hypnotize and Mesmerize, those things were awesome. Like Toxicity was cool and stuff like that. That put them on the map. But dude, the Hypnotize and Mesmerize albums, those were some killer albums, man. I can't point to one song on those that I like because it was like an experience. Foo Fighters. There's a band I really like too. Yeah. System of a Down. I kind of pair them with Rage Against the Machine in my head as well. So like there's no shortage of the amount of love I have for Rage. At least up until Battle for Los Angeles. After that, they fell off my radar. I haven't really listened to any of their stuff after that. I heard it wasn't that good anyways. But Foo Fighters, there's a band I really like. Those guys are awesome. Those Hypnotize and Mesmerize, were those the two albums? Yeah. How do you top that? I mean, yeah, like I haven't really felt like going back to them either. I'm not actually. I would have to look at Spotify to see if they even came out with anything after that. I don't set trends with music. I follow them, so I certainly wouldn't know what they came out with after that. Found out in the weirdest way that you love Foo Fighters, huh? Okay, I got turned on to it by a couple friends I went to school with, and they've got some good music. I had to actually go back and listen to some of their older music and to really appreciate them. But they had an album come out recently, Concrete and Gold, that actually I really dug. I thought it was pretty good. I know they've come out with some stuff since then that I haven't really given the time to, but dude, and come on, Dave Grohl. We were talking about Tenacious D earlier. The movie Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. Dave Grohl played Satan at the end for that probably arguably the most kick-ass song in the movie, Beelzebub. Dude, Dave Grohl is a rock god. He is so good. One second. I'm going to turn the ceiling fan on. It's got a little warm in here. Yeah, he's probably... So, yeah, Sin, you said he's... I'm assuming when you said top drummers ever, you're referring to Dave Grohl. So I would actually... I have no intention of besmirching Dave Grohl. He's awesome. I think he's probably a better drummer than a guitarist, honestly. He's a killer guitarist. He sounds cool. But I went to like... I like their music so much, I was like, I'm going to go learn a couple of their songs. And... I mean, the guitar parts aren't complicated. They sound good. That's what it is. And they sound good with the band. But I think he's more of a brilliant drummer is what it is. But he's got a very creative mind. I mean, he might not make complicated guitar parts on this stuff, but it doesn't matter because the overall composition is cool with all the different parts in play. So the guy's a creative genius either way. Yeah, Dave Grohl's like a musical hero of mine as well. He's the kind of guy I'd love to meet too. And yes, I have heard Pretender. Pretender, the music video for Pretender, that's awesome. Dude, when that whole big red glass thing behind them blows up. Oh, dude, that was cool. Yeah, that was exciting. Oh man, I'm trying to think of some other stuff there. Well, actually, so I hear Dave Grohl is supposed to be super into barbecue. Like, I don't know if he opened his own joint or something, but I know that he does a lot of stuff with barbecue. Like, he's really into cooking meats. I'd love to go and have Dave Grohl make me a brisket. Man. That'd be killer. Oh, did everybody have a good Thanksgiving? Well, I appreciate it, Blinks. This is my first attempt at it, at doing conversation. I'm not really good with commentary typically, or I'm not. I I'll tell you what, I'm good with doing conversation, not commentary. I'm not good at talking to myself. I'm good at bouncing conversation back with other people. That was the whole idea behind this whole live thing. Me trying it out tonight, anyways, was I mean, I remember back in high school, I loved to go over to my friend's house and we would just hang out, play video games, throw some music on, smoke a little bit of weed sometimes, drink a little bit of alcohol sometimes. And we would just bullshit, have some fun, get into some antics, have a good time. So, I mean, like, if I'm playing games on this, it's going to be off to the side. You can kind of see my TV over there, but I'd rather just bounce off conversation with you guys, talk about whatever's going on. Sin, I take it that your was that for Thanksgiving? Uh, not incredibly grateful for it. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate your thoughts on the commentary, though, Blinks. But I'm better with bouncing conversation off other people. I can't talk to myself. I get bored. I get bored of myself real quick. I get pretty fed up with myself. Yeah, I can't do the commentary, man. I'll just, you know what? I'll just do I'll just post my videos. I'll try to refine that, and then I'll do these little live things so I can just BS with people who want to join on. Strangers, even if they popped on, would be cool to chit chat with. So I have no problem with that. Oh, Sin, you said you didn't get to celebrate. Did you have to work or something, or too busy? I know some people get so caught up with working in the kitchen that uh, that they don't even get the chance to celebrate. But then, you know, some people have to work, which sucks. Um, I mean, we celebrated. We had a really good dinner. Our son came up with his fiance and stuff. And it was it was cool. We stuck around. We actually we we sat around the table and played Cards Against Humanity as a family game that night. It was pretty funny. I was winning too at first. Like I couldn't believe like how good I was doing until well, and then of course my son blew me away on that one. He definitely has a similar sense of humor to me, and he had a lot of good cards. You put off you put off celebrating it for a couple days. Oh yes, and if you get the chance, play some Cards Against Humanity. It's really fun with like three or four. You really want like four or more people, honestly. It's and you need if you have a tender sense of humor, or as what Blinkers and I were talking about earlier, a very sterile sense of humor, you will not enjoy that game. You'll probably be offended, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a blast. It was really fun. My daughter, who's 18, she's very um, gosh, I don't even know what to say. She's very she's very PG, like she and tries to be so, and so playing Cards Against Humanity, I'm like, oh, any chance I get, because you have to read the cards out loud. So when she's the card czar, I try to give her cards with cuss words and like dirty words on it, just because I want to hear her say it. It'd be like hearing a Disney character say the C word, say something bad, say something sexual. I'm trying to pop that balloon. Yeah, yeah. You get a chance, definitely play it. Oh. So let's see. So I know you guys are West Coast. So geez, you guys are still almost 7:30. You guys still got a whole lot of night ahead of you. I Blinkers, I appreciate it. I think a lot of people have told me I have a good voice for radio. It's because this is not. I don't have a face for TV, so I appreciate it, Blanks. I'll talk to you later, man. I was gonna be in this live here in a second, anyways. It's good talking to you. I'll let you guys know again next time I'm going live. I'll pop it up on Discord. You guys have a good night. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream. It's good talking to you guys. Hopefully we'll be able to get more people here too. You guys have a good night and a good rest of the Thanksgiving weekend.